All right, guys, we're back for another episode of Talking Preps. We're going into help me, Chris, I always forget.
Week 6.
Week 6.
This is the midpoint of the regular season.
And we're about to get the conference play in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. So it's going to be a little head knocking. And particularly in that Power 6 conference, we got a big matchup with West Charlotte and Mallard Creek. We'll discuss later. We got a lot of things to talk about. We got Providence quarterback, Luke Metter in the back. They got a historic win on Friday night. So we're going to play this and get to that. Chris, there was so much that happened on Friday night. I mean, I could go a lot of places. I'm not even going to try to steal your thunder. What caught your eye in week 5?
Well, man, there were a lot of big games. People want to make a big deal about Weddington beating Catholic. I was at Catholic last week. I'm not shocked that Weddington's just an elite team. Look at the team Weddington beat, Mooresville. Mooresville went up there and really took it to East Forsyth. Richmond County, they got that Raider magic going on, coming back to beat a good West Forsyth team. Mallard Creek beating Cardinal Gibbons. I don't know. Where do we start? It was a big week.
No, it was a huge week. A lot of crazy games. Independence beat Palisades, Gary. Did that surprise you? Did Independence went down to Palisades, got a win?
No. Independence is a good team.
Well, we talk about Coach.
Yeah, and we talked about the roller coaster. Yeah. But, the schedule that they have played that Coach McFadden set up, I think it prepared them for Palisades.
Yeah.
And so they've been playing tough competition the whole non-conference season. So, and we talked last week. I thought it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Had Palisades won, that wouldn't have surprised me either. I think they're fairly equal. But I think the Independence kids may have a little bit more experience. Not seeing the game, I'm not sure how it played out in the end. But they're both are going to be playoff teams later in the year if they continue to play the way they've been playing in the non-conference season.
Chris, anything that surprised you about that game?
No. Again, I want to kind of steal what Gary said and echo the same thing. I think both of them are exceptional football teams. I do think that maybe in recent years, maybe some of the upperclassmen at Independence and may have a little bit more experience in some bigger games, and maybe that led to them kind of pulling away with that 7-point win. But I'm not going to take nothing away from Palisades and what those guys are doing. Simmons and that staff, veteran coaching staff. They got a big team. A lot of depth, a huge defensive line that they can just bring guys in and out. They're an exceptional program as well. And, that's just the way it is. Somebody's got to lose the game. And unfortunately for Palisades, they came up 7 points short. But I think we're going to see them continue to be a tough out. I would not want to play a Palisades team in the cold weather in the playoffs because they can play physical football, and that's when it really matters.
Winter is coming, as somebody on our show likes to say. Gary, you were down for the Shield game, the Gary Richmond Bowl. Gary went to North Mecklenburg, graduated, taught, and coached at Hopewell. What did you think about North Meck keeping the Shield?
To be honest, I thought it was a very sloppy game. A lot of pre-snap penalties. I was impressed with Hopewell's offensive line, but Hopewell did a lot of things that were self-destructive. I think North was the team that made the fewer mistakes. I didn't think they did anything outstanding other than they didn't beat themselves.
Yeah.
They let Hopewell beat themselves. So, when you're trying to get to the next level, those are things you have to work through. I run in, I see the Hopewell kids a lot, and they know that they can be good. They talk about it all the time, but you have to go out there and be consistent. And that's one of the things they haven't mastered yet is consistency. And, they're still carrying some habits, some bad habits that they've had in the past. When things don't go their way, it shows up in their body language. They pout, they brood, they put their head down, and, they'll learn to do that. Coach Sneed will take care of that. I saw some good coaching on both sides.
Yeah.
But they just got to mature on both sides, and they got to get better. And you don't turn around football programs in one season. It takes a couple of years, and that's what both programs are going through.
I think both coaches are in the right spots. I think they have the energy and the intensity and the want to kind of get that done.
Yeah.
Bear Vereen, I mean, he really impressed me at the preseason press conference they had, just with his passion for doing this. He said, I could be a lot of places. I could be coaching college football right now, but this is where I want to be. And Snead really impressed me when I met him up at Huff at their preseason shindig, and kind of the same thing. I just impressed with both guys, and I think that.
I see improvement, and especially in Hopewell. I mean, they have a good offensive line, which is the hardest thing to build in a program, is a cohesive offensive line. And Snead's background is offensive line, so you can see the impact that he's had on the program. But when you're dealing with a young team. Or a young program, as far as having a new coaching staff, it's not going to happen in 5 games, and they're gonna have some ups and downs. And Friday night was a down, but North holds on to that shield. It's been a long time since Hopewell held it.
Yeah, that shield's a big deal. One of the games that caught my eye, Providence beat Butler for the first time since 2005. I mean, I know Butler, is trying to get it together, and Coach Hales, who's on the show, has a lot to do to kind of put them back together again after everything that happened. But Providence getting that win, they had to feel good. They were coming off, Chris, 2 blowout losses in a row, and then they come out and do this. Did this surprise you, though?
I don't want to sit here and say it didn't surprise me. I mean, Butler's an exceptional team, and I thought Butler was going to be a lot for them to handle. The hats off to Coach Ward and all those guys at Providence, because Providence, I think the one thing that I've taken from watching Providence is just they're a gritty team. They're a cerebral team, a tough team. They fight and show up every week, and I know they made some personnel changes with quarterback and some things like that, and maybe Coach Ward found the recipe to click moving forward in the season.
Yeah, and we're going to bring that quarterback in right now, Luke Metter, a junior, that had a big night against Providence. Luke, are you there, sir? There he is. Just see his magic. Luke just pops in. 12 out of 17, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was your second start, is that right?
Yes, sir.
What were the nerves like?
It was more excitement more than anything, really. Just excited to be out there and have a chance to win with my boys.
Well, I mean, when Providence has not beaten Butler in a long time, what was kind of the discussion going into the game? Is there any psych out at all, or did you guys think this is our night all along?
No, we had confidence going into the game. We talked about it all week that we hadn't beat them in a long time, and we thought, yeah, for sure, this is the year we were going to do it.
Wow.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead, Langston. I'm just looking at these passes.
Oh, I was going to say for you, Jackson DB was a star. He committed to win, get to play baseball. He stops playing quarterback. They say, hey, you're the guy in the middle of the season. Is that a little nerve wracking that, now you have to be the most important position on the field behind a guy who, thinking you're going to be behind a guy who's a star?
I mean, a little bit, yes, but I learned a lot from him in the 2 years I was behind him. I think that really helps me out some. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Granny, you got a story about this guy.
Yeah, so, Ward and I are good friends, work out at the same place, during the summer. And we happen to run into these guys in the summer at South Carolina tournament, correct? We go against them twice, and I'm like, who the heck is the quarterback? Because I remember the guy before. This guy was with them the entire summer and should have beat us both times. I think it came down to like one possession. Is that right, Luke? I can't remember correctly. But
that's correct, yep.
There's something about the camaraderie with him and his guys that was special and unique. And sometimes even though there's a star in place, you can see that this guy is a football guy. The other guy, I'm not saying he was bad, but I think he was more committed to the baseball situation. And you lose a little bit of the rapport with your guys. And when I saw him going against us last week, I was like a little concerned because I know how good he is.
Yeah.
Now, I think his first game, we try to get after him and make it tough on him and things like that. And but I think you're going to see a different Providence team going forward throughout the rest of the year because of Luke, no doubt.
Okay, Luke, well, to that point, how comfortable – I mean, Zaid was just on the show from Providence State earlier. He was saying that he got comfortable this year in the second year. How comfortable are you getting your second week versus your first week?
I definitely was more comfortable last night or on Friday night. I mean, the first start, it's the most challenging, of course, especially going against a team like West Charlotte. Yeah. I felt this last Friday I was a lot more comfortable. I felt I was more, just with the team. And the more I keep going, I feel like that's the more comfortable I'll be getting.
Luke, when a school has dominated another school for a long period of time, and congratulations on breaking that Butler streak.
Thank you.
What is it when did you know, or when did the team know, hey, we can beat these guys? A lot of times teams go into games and they say, I hope we can win. I think we can win. But when did the team say, we know we can beat Butler? Was there a point in the week, or was there a point in the game itself where the light went on and said, we can beat Butler?
No, I think we thought that all week going into the game, just all week at practice. And that was something that Coach Ward preached with us, was having the mindset, knowing that we're going to win, not hoping we're going to win, like you said. And I think throughout the whole week, we had a little chip on our shoulders, knowing that we hadn't beat these guys in a long time. And I think we had a lot of confidence going into the game, which helped us win.
Luke, I watched the Panthers on Sunday have a big performance against Atlanta, coming off a pretty bad performance the week before. You guys are coming off 2 tough losses. How do you keep your head up to get ready for a big game like this and don't kind of sulk and worry about what happened in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we just use it as motivation. Obviously losing, big time the last 2 weeks, that we hated that. And we just use that as motivation this week as another week, get after it and make something of it.
Look, man, looks like you guys are going to be in good shape. Coach Grinder thinks you're going to be in good shape moving forward. Best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks for coming on and joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
You had my vote in the summer, man. I'm telling you.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Brother.
All right, Luke, take care, my man.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, that's Luke Metter from Providence. He's going to be a good one, Sam?
He's a really good one. He's got beyond poise. It's unimaginable what he can do. First game he was going against us, when I saw him warming up, I asked Wood, I was like, you lied to me. I thought the other guy was playing. And, first game coming into it, we're pretty fast on defense, but I knew you're going to see this guy keep getting better and better each week. Yeah. He can throw the ball with great precision. He's a big guy, and he does everything within the system. He's more mobile than you think as well. He's a really good quarterback. I like him a lot.
All right. Well, Chris mentioned Weddington earlier in the show. He was really impressed with Weddington. We got a chance to catch up with your favorite coach, Sam, the one you're afraid of. We got a chance to catch up with Andy Capone and the Warriors.
Afraid of?
Yeah, you scared of Andy Capone. And,
my God.
Andy got married recently, right? Did he get married?
No, engaged.
Got engaged. Okay. Well, happy engagement to Andy.
Never get married in football season.
Hey, I'm getting married in 2 weeks.
Are you really?
Or 3, yeah.
Well,
hey, I tell all coaches, never get married during football season.
Well, Andy, don't get married during football season, but here's what they had to say after they beat Cali.
Did you expect that first half to turn out the way it did?
Yeah, we had a good game plan this week, and we just came in here ready to go, locked in, and we dominated all night and got the ball in the right guy's hands. O-line did a great job up front. Defense did a great job shutting them out in the first half and the third quarter, and we just came in here ready to roll.
Did this kind of send a message in a way to the rest of the conference, like, okay, we're the guys to beat now. You guys got to beat us to win the conference?
We always say at the beginning of the season, we got 3 goals: win the first game, win the conference, and play on Thanksgiving. So I think it does send a message to the conference, and I think we're going to be all right this next going through the rest of the season.
I thought we had a good week of prep, though, and another solid game plan by the defensive staff, and thought we came out fast and executed it really well. And anytime you can create turnovers and make big plays in special teams, good things happen for you. Yeah, we wanted to take the ball and start fast offensively. We didn't want to give them the ball and milk the clock. So, great job by our offense coming out and executing early. But, we preach all 3 phases. I think sometimes people forget how important special teams can be, but we don't. And Coach Bowers does a great job with special teams. And, the kids understand how important it is. So you get all three phases going like that, we're tough to beat.
No, sir, not the kind of game we wanted. Obviously, I didn't get the guys prepared well enough to play in this particular game, and we got to do better. We got to do better next week. We got a long season ahead of us still, second half of the season. But yeah, Weddington beat us up and down and through and over and around, and it was a tough night tonight.
Kudos to that coach talking after the game too. Keith, golly, that's brutal. I think someone came and tried to talk to me after overtime loss. I was like, I ain't talking.
We couldn't find you after the loss. We can find you after the win, though. You be sitting right there after the win, like, hey, here I am. Come talk to me.
And just say something about don't sleep on Butler later on. Don't sleep on thinking that they can't overcome. They're a young team, well coached. I'm telling you, I ain't sleeping on them. I can tell you that. I can promise you.
I mean, Coach Hales is right here. I mean, are you guys close, Coach, to where you guys need to be?
Yeah, it's still we're going through a lot of growing pains, and unfortunately, a lot of things with us right now, it's immaturity, but it's immaturity in the form of a lack of experience. We have a lot of kids, number one, that are playing varsity for the first time, and then number two, we're playing a lot of kids that never really played for me and for my coaching staff before at the same time too. So, just being out there, I mean, it's a lot of on-the-job training. There's a lot of kids getting on-the-job training, and sometimes with the young team, it don't look pretty early on, but once they start to figure this stuff out, that confidence grows. I mean, we're going to continue to get better. We're definitely on the right path. But sometimes you could have a night like Friday night where you make critical mistakes at critical times and you shoot yourself in the foot sometimes. But again, unfortunately, like, experience is the best teacher, and we just got to honor that and continue to make sure we're working hard.
Yeah. It was funny because last week Sam was like, I'm going to catch you at 3 state championships. And you said, I'm not done. It's like,
that's right.
Stop chasing state championships.
I'm glad. I honestly am glad he had a 1 year buffer, though, that kind of had to restart. The momentum was a little too much. I ain't going to lie to you.
Oh, you know what? So to me, it doesn't get mad at me. I did have a graphic when Gary was supposed to be talking about North Mac beating Hopewell, and I just forgot to put it up. So I'm not trying to get in trouble with me. It's a pretty graphic too. I'm sorry I didn't.
It shows you. I mean, that shows you how tough our conference is going to be. I mean, Hopewell, I think, was really turning the corner. That's a shield game. It was at Hopewell too, wasn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's the pitch. To hold Hopewell to 10 points, that's pretty spectacular.
And the fans have returned to Hopewell. They had a good crowd on their side. Now, North, on the other hand, good. It looked like the only people they had were parents, and that was it.
Shout out to
Sneed. And the Vikings. Y'all need to go support your team, North Mac.
Yeah. Now, shout out to Sneed, the creativity. And he's always been creative. I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but he used to put out, he probably still does it, like a Google sheet, for all the camps. For kids to go to, and like anybody can just go to one link and find out all the camps for the summer for all the colleges. Like, he does these things. He's beyond his years on like creativity. So I saw a flyer for this game. Middle school feeders, all this, get into the game free. Like they had festivities, they had certain things. Very creative to make it an event to come see and watch and start building that camaraderie with them. I know that they wanted to win that game, but they're definitely light years ahead of, the vision for sure.
I love it. And before we move on to the players of the week and everything else, I did want to ask you, Coach Hales, I saw this play. My son went to Notre Dame, so I've become a Notre Dame fan de facto. And I saw this play yesterday. They were playing Purdue. Do you like this? Watch this.
I love it. Are you kidding me?
I'd never seen that before.
Me either. That's wild. That's a great play.
Yeah.
Inside zone throwback.
Sam, do not watch that play, Sam. I'm not putting it in.
Yeah. I just want to know the creative name that's going to be behind it.
Special. Something special.
That's gonna be 34. That'll be 34 lying left, I think. 34 lying left.
I guarantee at least 10 teams in North Carolina will run that play Friday night.
For sure.
So another creative play, if you watch ODU, Old Dominion, when they beat Virginia Tech, they're running zone, but it's a blind read. So normally you read the end. So like if the running back's here, he'd be handing it off here and he'd be reading the end over here. Handing it off here and reading the end on the left side. Yeah. messes up people's rules and their angles. So like, there's a lot of creativity in college. It's pretty phenomenal.
I just thought that was a really cool play. All right, so
the colleges get it from the high schools.
So we have we're going to talk about all the big games coming up this week, but before we do that, I got to toss it to Chris. We're going to talk about the best players of last week, and we got a special guest, Providence Day Zai Lot, coming up right after the break. Every week on Thursday and Saturday morning, get the latest in high school news from around the region in the Charlotte Observer's free newsletter, Talking Preps, the newsletter. Make sure you sign up now.
You go. All right, man, here we are. Week 5 of the high school football season is in the books. And my man, we had some great guys who balled out Friday night and got the call to be one of our North Carolina players of the week here, Talking Preps. I got my man Gary, my man Coach Hells. I don't know where Griner sneaked off to, but we're going to go on without him. We're going to start up there in Troutman, North Carolina, South Iredell High School. Tristan Cowan in a 48-44 victory over Alexander Central. This sophomore quarterback completed 21 of 34 passes for 424 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also, receiver Brody Hunt had 13 catches for 312 yards and 4 scores. Cowan tied for 4th most touchdown passes ever by an NCHSA football player and set a school record in the process. Hunt set a school record for receiving yards, which ranked 6th in state history. Gary, you've seen a lot of good receivers, a lot of good quarterbacks over the day. What do we think about this performance?
This is like video game numbers. You know, these are like a third of the season type numbers, or a half a season. I mean, some teams don't put up these kind of statistics in 4 games, let alone 1 game, or individuals for that matter don't put up these type of statistics over half a season. But the main thing that stood out to me is it's a competitive game. So it's not a situation where you have one team that's vastly superior than the other and they're putting up these stats. This is a competitive game by the score. So that's what makes it, truly an outstanding accomplishment by the receiver, the quarterback, as well as the entire offense.
Yeah, I agree, Gary, because both these teams have played an extremely tough schedule, and I think are both better than the record. And, they balled out Friday night, just trying to get their seasons both on the right track. So a good call on that one. So Brody Hunt and quarterback Brody Hunt, and Cowan. Man, that's some big time numbers. So anyway, let's move on.
Hey, Chris, let's look at Brian is the O-line coach here. Brian, you see that protection?
I do. I do. And when you have protection like that, and one thing I want to remark on, the kid's only a sophomore. So I mean, to be able to to have that type of protection where he's confident enough. And you see like a lot of stuff like that clip right there. He doesn't have the route. He understands the protection. He's able to just kind of escape right through the gap. But like the kid's making all the throws. Like he's got, his timing stuff where he hit the out, the deep ball accuracy. And then to have a night like this, to put up that many yards, you're going to have to get a lot of help with the catch and run too. But I mean, the kid's making all kind of throws and he's making great decisions when to run and where to run too. And man, again, if that kid just being a sophomore, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guys that touch the ball get all the credit, but I'm amazed at that offensive line.
Well, I'm gonna be loving up on the O-line guys when we get to some of these running back numbers later on.
All right, hey, our man Sam checked into the studio. So Sam, we'll get your opinion here in just a minute. But I'm glad that we was able to highlight both Tristan Cowan and Brody Hunt. Kind of got tongue-tied on that one for a second. But let's move on up to Lexington. Lexington High School, the Yellow Jackets. Kamari McDonald set a new NCHSAA state record with 3 pick six in one game when Lexington beat East Davidson by a score of 40-0. Previously, 13 players tied for second with 2 pick six in a game. Hales, you like defense. You hang your hat on defense. So what do you think in this one?
Yeah, my first question would be, is this quarterback related to this defensive player at all? He seemed like he's trying to, I believe after the second one, I'd either be handing it off or maybe trying the other side of the field. But no, the thing that stands out to me is the size of this kid. I mean, big, long kid like this, long strider, and, again, great hands. And I'm sure he plays a little bit. He better play a little bit on the offensive side of the ball. But for him to have that type of length to get into some of these passing windows, I think back to a kid we had years ago, Peter Colombaye. It was just so big, his arms so long that they're able to cover up a lot of those passing windows. And for him to be able to make these plays and take them all the way back, man, great job, kid. Great night.
Wow. For Kamari McDonald to be in the same sentence with Peter Colombaye, I don't know that he knows how cool that is. Sam, you missed out on the first one. I'll give you a shot on this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can tell exactly like Hell's is saying. This kid's long and athletic. This is exactly what equivalates to one of those big-time defensive ends at the next level and maybe even the highest level, because the athleticism, this is what they're looking for. A guy that can run, length. They're probably utilizing him exactly what they should in high school. But like Hell said, I mean, 3 pick sixes all in the curl flat area. The window is not there, okay? Let's just not throw it there. Maybe try to throw it in the hook to curl, or we got to throw some deep shots here because it was not working on this deal.
Yeah.
It looked like he knew the play. He knew the play before it happened. You know how we used to run a scout team in practice, and you say, do it again, and it was always a guy on the scout team.
Defense play dumb.
The play was, and they cheat because they know the play. That's what he looked like he was doing. He was cheating on scout team.
Wow.
Listening to the huddle.
Hey, he paid attention to Coach Mormon. Hey, Sam, I'm going to give this one here to you. Brandon Pinkerton at East Rutherford in their 43-34 victory over High Brighton. By the way, that is 2 top 10 teams in their respective classes, High Brighton 4A, East in 3A. Pinkerton ran the ball 26 times, 376 yards, 5 touchdowns, also completed a 5-yard pass. Looks like he can do a little bit of everything, Coach.
Yeah, this is an ice bath game. This is the type of stuff I get ridiculed for, running a guy 26, 30 times, whatever the case may be. But you're talking about 376 yards, and they had the audacity to say he threw a 5-yard pass as well. That is the highlight of the whole deal right there. Just by the way, a little token at the end, we're going to let him throw a little 5-yard pass.
I don't know, Gary. In our day, Gary, running the ball that many times, that meant you were the workhorse. I don't think it's too much.
Not on a Friday night, because he's not getting tackled Monday through Thursday. What is that John Robinson used to say at USC? I'm dating myself now. He used to say that ball only weighs 12 ounces. It's not that heavy.
There you go. Hey, Coach Ellis, I'm going to give this one here to you. Antonio Samuels, R.J. Reynolds High School up in Winston-Salem. They had a 41-21 victory over Ballantyne Ridge. Samuels ran 14 times, 324 yards, and mark it down 6 touchdowns. There's some clips of it right there, Coach Ellis. What do you see?
Yeah, man. I mean, number one, that's a kickoff return. So, I mean, big plays right there. But, again, 14 times 324, that O-line, and again, great job, Antonio. Finishing off all those runs. But for you to average, what's that, 80 yards a carry, basically? That's an O-line that's getting the job done. I hope he took those guys out to, Waffle House or something like that after the game, because that's an O-line that's doing some great work for the running back.
Absolutely. Coach Joe Davidiak Reynolds, they're undefeated on the season, so good to them. Sam, I'm going to give this one here to you. Travis Woodward, Panther Creek up in Raleigh in their 41-14 victory over Green Level. Woodward ran the ball 14 times, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns. What you see here?
I mean, like you said, the yards per carry, similar to the last guy, that's phenomenal. Only 14 carries, been having over 200 yards. 3 touchdowns, basically, 30% of the time, this guy's roughly almost taking it to the crib, which is unbelievable. So, and I think he's got some great explosion too. He's not a smaller guy. He's got some fitness to him. So I bet he's hard to tackle as well. So, you can win a lot of football games if you got a guy getting over 200 yards in the rushing stats. I can tell you that.
Panther Creek, coached by UNC former alumni football player Sean Crocker. Gary, you probably remember Crocker when he played for Mac Brown's Hills back in the early or late 90s. But any good analogies with him? We use John Robertson first.
Well, running back coaches used to always say, get me 4 yards and then you can do whatever you want to. Stay in the hole, give me 4 yards where the play is designed to go, and then you can do whatever you want to. This guy's giving him 20 yards in the hole and then bouncing it. So kudos to the offensive line. We can't, we're seeing all these offensive statistics, but they're not possible without these offensive linemen.
Yeah, no kidding. We're going to bring a big one in right now. This is our main guy. We're going to bring him here in studio. Zaid Lott, Providence Day quarterback. Welcome to the show. In their 55-34 victory over nationally ranked Raven Gap, Lott, a Syracuse recruit, by the way, completed 23 of 30 passes for 338 yards, 4 touchdowns. And, oh, by the way, if that wasn't enough, he also ran the ball 21 more times for 145 yards and 4 more touchdowns. Talk about an ice bath, Coach Griner. Zaid, welcome to the show. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Just on this play, Gordon Sellers close to commit, no safety up over top, press man. Of course, I'm going, go over top and then just let my guy do what he needs to do. And, as far as the game goes, last year we lost to them in the state championship by 3. So, we went to the game with a chip on our shoulder and made sure we needed to do our job and just get the job done. And especially with, seeding and everything, we lose this game at home, then we're going to have to go to Georgia to play a state championship. So, we're just glad that it's going to be at in Charlotte at our home.
That's a huge advantage, exactly like you said. This is more than just a regular season game. Likelihood you guys are going to play again in the playoffs, and home field advantage when you're traveling that far is such a huge advantage. Sure. And, let's give some vibes to you. Look at the moon, the little light, the light over you tonight. Look at you, man. We got the vibes going on. I'm talking about, Mom set you up right there, or you did that on your own?
I did this myself. Right here.
Oh, okay. Doing that for the ladies. I got you.
Hey Zay, I'm a Carolina graduate, and I'm so disappointed you changed your commitment. But right now, after what I saw yesterday, I can't blame you. I can't blame you. You go into the team that's BTA as you kids say today.
Yes,
you going to Syracuse and they put something on Clemson, and you change from going to Carolina and they look like they run an offense from the 1950s. So congratulations to you and best wishes to you.
Hey, I had two things. One, Gary, are you disappointed that you're a Carolina fan, or are you disappointed as a Carolina fan that he changed his commitment?
I'm disappointed as a Carolina fan.
Gotcha.
And I'm disappointed that talented kids like Zaid Lott are not going to Chapel Hill.
I got you.
Because they could sure use him right now.
Well, then my next question, Zay, for you, with the usage, 30 passes, 21 carries. I'm more interested in the 21 carries. Was that part of the game plan going into it, or was it kind of you got in the game and you guys realized there's a lot more opportunities here for me to run the ball too?
Well, with our run game, we already got a lot of power with our O-line, the guys up front. We, last year, it wasn't that much power that we got this year, but this year we stepped up a lot with scheme-wise and stuff. And with me, putting on some weight during the offseason and getting stronger during the offseason, it's a weapon. So we just used it, really.
Man, that's awesome.
Zay, what I'm noticing, what kind of improvements did you think you made from last season? Because as I look at this tape, I saw you play once last year in the opening game, and you didn't step up in the pocket. You kind of flushed out the rear to the left or right, and this time I'm saying you step up. What changes did you make in your game from last year to this year?
Last year, it being my first year starting, I feel like I wasn't as comfortable as I am this year. And plus last year, we didn't have, like I said, the same personnel up front as we do now. And just more about comfortability compared from this year to last year.
Really. Yeah, I love the comment on that. Exactly what you said. You're utilizing your size, your God-given size that he gave you. You're using it in the power running game, and you also are like standing in the pocket, seeing over the line and utilizing them as a shield. And so when you flushed out, a lot of times a shiftier guy or something like that might do those things and create space because they can't see over the line like you can. So I think that coach is utilizing you phenomenal. I got one more question for you. We all know Chad Greer very well. Phenomenal coach.
Sure.
I want to know what's the most athletic thing he has done in your presence.
In my presence, it was
I know the stories get crazy. The stories get unreal crazy, but I want to know what you've seen with your own eyes.
Believe it or not, like 3 years ago, I saw him run a little fade ball. And he went up there and got it.
Come on.
I
love it.
Okay.
Wow. That is pretty cool. Zaid, hey, congratulations. And that is an incredible win over Raven Gap. Great season you guys have going on. I am going to ask you one thing, though. Gary, he kind of brought it out in the limelight, the fact that you did choose Syracuse, which, by the way, the orange light behind you, I mean, that is perfect Syracuse color. But what was the reason, maybe, if you want to tell us why you switched from UNC to go up to Syracuse?
Really for me, I committed early, like summer of my sophomore going into junior year. It just really wasn't the same for me with the coaching change. And I want to have somewhere where I have a culture like base community, and like with the coaching change and stuff like that, it just didn't really feel the same. And when Coach Fran came and talked to me, it felt like he really like wanted me there. And with Coach Nixon, like their OC, him being a 12-year vet in the league with coaching vet, being an offensive coordinator, and Coach Nuns, that staff up there, and what they did Kyle McCord, with him being like one of the best passers in the nation last year, and having the best passing offense in the nation last year, it just felt like the greatest fit for me.
All right, Zaid. Hey, thanks for coming on. Congratulations on getting the call, being one of our players of the week, and best of luck the rest of this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Langston. Well, let me throw it back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot for that. But you just got done talking. You got to talk some more, because we got to hear about the biggest game. I can't talk. The biggest games in the state coming up this week.
All right, I mentioned it coming into the show, week 6, the midpoint of the regular season. We got some big games to talk about for Friday night. I could talk about more than 3, but Langston says I can only talk about 3, so here we go. With Millbrook going up to Rollsville. I know Rollsville's got off to a rocky start. I think they're 2-3, but look at who they've played. And Rollsville might as well have played Georgia and Tennessee and Notre Dame. If you look at the schedule they've played, Coach Renier Rackley been very aggressive and playing some of the best teams that he could possibly play, kind of like what Coach Sam Griner does. So you know what? I applaud coaches that are willing to take a loss early in the year, because I think in Rollsville's case, it's definitely going to pay dividends. I think this is a game that could definitely be a predictor of the 8A Eastern Finals. I could see both of these two teams being amongst the last men standing for an opportunity maybe to play Sam or somebody Huff or somebody else on the western side of the state. So this is a game that everybody needs to keep an eye on. Millbrook has come out of the gates hot this year. Coach Lamar Marshall has a team loaded with talent that they've got homegrown. They've got some kids that have transferred. Nonetheless, they are rolling and hitting on all cylinders. Got an incredible coaching staff. So, this is going to be a game up there in Wake County. If you're not having any sort of allegiance to a certain team, or maybe your team's off on Friday night, I would head over to Rollsville. It's just a short little drive up Highway 401 out of the state capitol. Be a great game, good environment for football. Rollsville does it right. The game that I'm really interested in, I don't necessarily know how to go on the field, is Watauga, who is now our number 1 team in the 6A class. Coach Ryan Havoc runs a very unique double wing, very, very tough to defend. There you go. Very tough to defend offense. They have been putting up points galore. I think they were up 40-0 at the half on a Monday or a Saturday night game against Asheville Irwin. So they're a team that can score points quickly and in a lot of different ways. They're going to go to Asheville. Asheville is a much improved team, but the main reason I want to talk about this game, this year is the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene hitting the state. They've got a lot of special festivities planned for the game itself. Asheville, especially right there in that area where Asheville High School's at, like right up the hill from the Biltmore Village. That was some of the area with the Arts District that was hit the absolute hardest there in that community in Buncombe County. Asheville High School, the way it's situated on the hill, is right across the street from the Mission Hospital. Well, the helicopter from Mission Hospital is going to fly into the game before the game. They're delivering the game ball. They got a lot of pageantry and festivities there to honor a lot of the first responders and the people that helped that community and all of Western North Carolina pull out from under the water and rubble and stuff. So I want to give a shout out to that community because we know this last year, to some of them have still never recovered from the hurricane. So, just want to give a shout out to them. And then finally, down in the eastern part of the state, this is the game that I am going to be at. West Brunswick, they're a team. Nobody has thought about West Brunswick in years. Coach Shane Handy took over down there and has quietly, and I mean really quietly and kind of methodically got the Trojans back into contention. I think they are 4-1 with their only loss being to a really good North Myrtle Beach team who, by the way, is coached by Greg Hill that used to be at East Met coach Brian Hales. You probably remember some battles.
Yeah, man, hit some great teams at East Met.
Yeah,
they're top 10 in the state for a while.
Absolutely. So West Brunswick, they are rolling. Hoggard, I've already seen them once this year. Quarterback Matthew Boring. They've got offensive linemen for miles. I mean, you got to look up at those guys. They look a lot like those Butler and Indy O-lines from the mid-2000s. So that's going to be a big game. That's where I plan to be. Not only because, it's a big game, but we also have parent weekend at UNC-W. So I want to be down there anyway.
Nice.
That's the way it works out with my big
I'm
three.
trying to think, why is this man driving 3-4 hours down the road? Okay, I got you. Gary, you remember a couple of years ago when Malley Creek, or maybe it was last year, 2 years ago, Malley Creek went up to Watauga and they had a fit up there for a while.
Yeah, they had wasn't that the worst officiated game I'd ever seen?
Yeah, you called it the worst officiated game you've ever seen. You did. You did. I remember, and I was watching that game, and the Chris's point with Tigers' offense is really, really hard to figure out. It's kind of like fighting Bud Crawford. You just can't figure it out. And you just hope you can win on decision before it runs out. Okay, so we heard about the biggest games in the state. Let's hear from Cam about the biggest games in the Charlotte region.
All right, everyone, we're back with another edition of Cam's Big Three. We're going to start in Union County at Porter Ridge High School. Charlotte Catholic just coming off a big-time loss to Weddington. They're going to be looking to get back in the win column against a Porter Ridge team that's really playing some good football right now. It was one of my games of the week last week where Porter Ridge played Cuthbertson and beat them 42-17, put up 14 points in the first, second, and third quarter. So their offense is getting rolling, and their defense has held opponents under 10 points twice already this season. So I look for that to be a really good game. Then heading down to Cleveland County, we got Shelby and Stuart Kramer. Stuart Kramer undefeated, beating teams by a lot of points, but they have not played anyone yet to this point the caliber of Shelby. I would be interested to see how many points Stuart Kramer is able to generate against Shelby. I would personally pick Shelby, even though they're 3-2. They're probably a little bit more battle tested. So I look forward to seeing if Stuart Kramer is able to put up points like they have been against recent opponents. And then in Cabarrus County, battle of two teams that are 1-3. It's been a bumpy ride for West Cabarrus and Hickory Ridge both. Both have new head coaches this year, Matt Jenkins at West Cabarrus and Brandon Gentry at Hickory Ridge. So they're both kind of still getting their footing. West Cabarrus is coming off their first win of the season against Berry Academy this past week. And so I look for this to be a pretty solid game. I know on Max Preps, these teams are ranked 165th and 150th in the state, respectively. So it's a battle of Cabarrus County in which team can get to 2 wins.
All right, well, that's Cam's thoughts. Chris, one game that did catch my eye of those 3 was that Catholic Porter Ridge game. Catholic's coming off that Weddington game. Porter Ridge got a win last week. This is kind of a must-win for Catholic if they, know. Go ahead.
It definitely is. Now, Catholic's a little banged up. I mentioned that I was at their game 2 weeks ago against Kings Mountain that they won Catholic is a great team. Catholic still does all the things Catholic does. But I think even for that game when they beat Kings Mountain, who, by the way, they didn't have their starting running back. Catholic was down about 6 starters in that game. Catholic just didn't quite look like the Catholic teams that you're used to. They didn't have a lot of that breakaway speed. Now, they are still strong as an ox up front. They still have a lot of motion and do a lot of the Catholic things to throw you off. But they just don't necessarily have that it factor you normally think of a Catholic team having. Of course, I say that, and they're liable to not lose another game all year. I do think this is a need. I ain't gonna say a must win, but definitely a need to win situation.
I think it's a must win. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think it's a must win.
But the other side of that coin is I think Porter Ridge is a vastly underrated team. Porter Ridge, I think, defensively is one of the more sound teams I've seen. I came into the year, obviously we know Weddington is what they are in Union County, but I came into the year thinking Sun Valley was that team that was going to kind of ascend up to compete with Weddington. I think I was wrong. I think Porter Ridge is that team. I think Porter Ridge is really good.
Porter Ridge is very good. Another team that's very good is another surprise team, Gary. South Mex won 4 in a row, and they're going to play Hopewell. What do you think about that game?
Well, South Mex has some momentum. Hopewell is coming off a loss to their biggest rival.
Yes.
And, it's probably a crossroads for Hopewell. It's the first conference game. Mm-hmm. They're out of the Power 6, that gauntlet, and they have a chance to finish in the middle of the pack in this new conference. But in order to do that, they're going to have to play a good South Mex team. We saw their quarterback a couple of weeks ago. He was our player of the week. And, he's a very good player. And Hopewell's going to have their work cut out for them. And if they make the kind of self-inflicted penalties and mistakes that they had against North, the South Mex game won't be close.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to get Hales and Griner thoughts on this. I tend to kind of like the way the conference is structured, at least in football, because this game is a big moment for these two teams, and they don't have to play the heavyweights like that every week when they get the conference play. What do you think about that, Hales and Griner?
Well, I think the first thing is, looking at South Mex, specifically right now, so much of high school football is a mental game, and so much has to do with confidence and momentum. And when you're able to start to string together, 2, 3, 4 wins, and now they're going into this conference play, I mean, that's a great opportunity for them. But, now to get back to what you're saying, it's more of an apples and apples kind of thing here. Where you got similar schools playing each other, and I think it might be that way this year, but I'm not sure it's going to stay that way either, because, South Mex, even with the opening of Valentine Ridge, I don't know what their numbers are, but I'm sure their numbers are still really, really high. So, I think you're going to have to look at seeing them, continue to build on that also.
Yeah. Griner, what do you think?
Oh, so you're just saying all the other conferences?
The other conferences, because they're more balanced. They don't have to play West Charlotte, Butler.
Our conference is unreal balanced. Yeah, just freaking heavyweights all day, every day long.
I mean, the other conferences, you're not going to have running clocks every. You know what I'm saying? That they have they go into it thinking we have a shot, not just to win this game, we have a shot at winning the conference title.
Yeah, I think it's good for change a lot of times. And you get to see these matchups because there's not a lot of they're not familiarity in these two teams playing against each other every year. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be very unique because of, the coaching style. Joe Evans wants to run the football.
Yeah.
What do you think that, they want to do at Hopewell too? Snead is he's an offensive line guy. He's a guru with those things. Like if he coaches one position, it's definitely O-line, and he wants to run the football. They will throw the ball, both of them, but they both see each other in practice. They just don't know what they're going to see because they play each other this game, but they see each other mimicking, their defenses go against their own offenses each week with that running type of attitude. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a very physical game. If I didn't have a game, this is one of the games I would like to go to just because of the physicality, and I wouldn't know which way it's going to go.
Well, plus, I think it'll be over pretty early if they're not going to be throwing.
Yeah, all they're running.
That's right.
That's a grinding kind of game. Well, Hales, I want to ask you about your game this week. You're going to play Captain Munlin and Chambers. Tough way to start the conference for both teams. Both teams want to get a W.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited to be playing Chambers. And for those who don't know, Chambers, formerly, the previous name, we opened up the same year, and for a long time we played each other every year. And I think it was same. You may have still been up there when Coach Wilkes was there, and it was around that time, maybe like 2012, 2013, where we stopped playing each other. But like we played each other in the playoffs, several times. We played the Western Championship game against each other back in 2010. So, to kind of renew that rivalry again, just as a guy that's been around for a while, I'm excited to do that. And then, to coach against Captain Munderland and his staff, I don't get many opportunities to coach against somebody for the first time. So I'm excited about being able to coach against somebody and his staff for the first time. And, to be able this morning and really yesterday start to put on the tape and, kind of see how he's coaching them and see if, he's bringing some of those NFL principles and schemes, to what they're doing. So, it'll be a different challenge for us, but it's definitely going to be a challenge for us because, like we talked about, we've got to continue to get better. And then, just like I said a few minutes ago, we got to start building momentum ourselves too.
Yeah,
Gary talked about the history of the game. I coached in that first game.
Yeah, I got a pick six off of you, Gary. My first pick six,
they beat us. They beat us 12-6, the first game in the history of both schools.
Yeah,
and that was a fun. It was a unique year because they finished the schools without finishing the athletic facilities. So we both had to get on buses every afternoon and go somewhere else and practice. And then we had to borrow other stadiums for games, for home games. And so it was a unique year. And, the thing about being the first game between those two schools was one of them knew that they weren't going 0-11. One of them knew they weren't going 0-11. And I think we finished the first year advanced. We finished 1-10. I don't know what Butler did, but
I think we broke even that year.
Yeah, I think like 5-6 maybe they went.
Yeah,
but and honestly, Gary, I'm not sure they still haven't finished the bleachers at Butler. Still waiting for them.
That was a true statement. True statement.
But Gary, tell me about this game. Chambers is only a couple of plays away from being 5-0.
Yeah, they're close. Both teams are coming off a loss, and one team is going to regain confidence, and you hope that the team that doesn't win doesn't let it snowball into a bad season.
Yeah, Chambers' problem is they've not been able to score in their red zone.
Right. They can't finish.
Yeah.
Not
the Hells doesn't know that already. I mean, it's not like we're giving away.
Yeah. Just figured that out.
But it should be interesting, to see who's going to go. It's important, to get every game you can in this conference. So, before they start running into the big boys and Butler's, well, they both have been big boys, so they know, but they're both trying to get back to that status where they're spoken in the same sentence with, West Charlotte and Huff and Mallard Creek, and they're both trying to get back to that. So it'll be an interesting.
I just think, like you said, they're experienced. They're not experienced yet. They both have the capability of being really great teams, and both of them are in similar boats in the aspect of they're finding their way, they're finding their identity, they're cleaning up the little mistakes, like Butler's saying, like Hales was saying about Butler, and a lot of teams are figuring those things out, but they have their identity because they got 8 returner starters, or something like ourselves. And, this is going to be a very, very it's going to be one within the trenches. Who's going to move who against their will? And if they're creating a surge, is Butler going to be able to move them, or are they going to be able to penetrate and get tackles for loss, things like that? Who's going to be able to create that surge in this game and create their physicality on one or the other? And that's who's going to win this game for sure.
Yeah, one thing I can say,
here's a weird fact about this game too. This is the only regular season game we got on grass this year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's definitely interesting. One thing I can tell you, high school changes fast because Gary was saying West Charlotte's a big boy. 3 years ago, West Charlotte was not a big boy, so things changed really, really fast. Grinding went from 0 to 100 real quick. Chris,
Not 100 yet, about 92 right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get a big win against a good team. So we got to wait to see that. Chris, Rocky, that's fair, right? That's fair.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Rocky River, Providence, Chris. So this is a big game for two teams. We just had the Providence quarterback going there on the road. Rocky River got a win last night. Again, here's a conference game that you got a chance to get.
Yeah, it's a big game. I think it's a scary game if you're a Rocky River fan. And I hate to pick against them. Got all the respect in the world for that program. They do a great job. But Rocky River is a very sophomore-heavy team. They're a young team. And now all of a sudden you're going up against a Providence team that has found a quarterback in Luke Mater and that has gotten that big win against Butler. That's going to be a team coming into this game with all the confidence in the world. And Rocky River, I think, is a lot better. You look at them on film, they're not giving up a lot of points. Their defense is better than it's been. But I just have a feeling that, it's going to be a little bit of an uphill climb for Coach McClamrock and his guys there.
Yeah, you talked about Coach Snead earlier in the show. I think McClamrock is the same way as a teacher. He's committed, and the kids really like him. The one thing that when I've been around Rocky River is just how the kids gravitate towards him. And Sam, you probably, and Hales, you guys can probably attest, when the kids like you, they're just going to play a little harder for you.
Sure.
Sure.
And one thing with Rocky River, too, Rocky River's always been really good on the defensive side of the ball. Like they've always had players over there. They've always had really good schemes over there. In the past, their trouble, I think, was just finding consistency at quarterback and like settling on an offensive system. And I think, with a guy like McClamrock there who knows his way around a program and setting things up like that, I think you'll see a lot of improvement there in relatively short order.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They might, like one statement, they might, if we look at it, have the greatest player in CMS in the last 30 years playing the NFL. The corner, I mean, maybe he, the one that went to Louisville.
I can see his face. I can't call his name right now.
Oh my God! But he was right.
Jerry Alexander.
Jerry Alexander. Yeah.
Hey, and if McClamrock's if he's smart, he'll just find a loop of that film. I just said they have no chance, and he'll have it playing in the locker room.
Absolutely. Oh, you guys giving shouts out to former guys in the NFL. My man Jordan Davis on Sunday blocked not one but two kicks.
Returned one for a touchdown.
He ran one back for a touchdown. It was a game-saving play. A big fella was rumbling. I saw you, big fella. I saw you. I sent you a text. I don't know. You probably got 1,000 of them.
Phenomenal person. Gives back to the community.
He's great dude. Great dude. Big teddy bear when he's not playing football. Him and Derek Brown are the two nicest, big, huge men I've ever met. But I would not want to meet either one of them in the alley. Huh?
I said big, huge.
Derek Brown is a very large individual. Very large individual. And just as nice as he wants to be. All right, game of the week. Sam, last week you said I was scared of Kennedy Tinsley, but Kennedy Tinsley ain't scared of you.
Let's go.
Break it down for me. What's in the game plan to beat Mallard Creek? Mallard Creek got a big win at Gibbons last week, scored with the last, 2 minutes to play, got a 60-yard touchdown pass. Came back and won that game. Mallard Creek, other than that one game against Grayson, when they didn't play well, they gave up 21 points in special teams. They've been really good.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk. I mean, Mallard Creek on paper has played the hardest schedule out of anybody in North Carolina, and they are 4-1.
Yes,
they have a better record than us. So on paper, they are by far the favorites in this game. Going into it, playing at their place. I think it's going to come down. I think we have a little bit more experience in players that have played varsity for a long time. They have a team that's built in within their system. Their JV team was dominant last year, whooped everybody, and a lot of those guys are keeping that same thing going on the varsity level.
Yeah,
and so they're good at what they do. I mean, we understand their identity. I think it's going to come down like in the trenches, like we always say. Like, are we going to be able to make things tough for them? And make them hard to, make them make mistakes. I think that if they're able to establish the run and just run it right down with no problem, then we're going to have a long night. If we're able to make them do things that they don't want to do or get outside of their comfort zone, then I think it could be a big night for us as well. And that's what we're hoping for.
Hales is a 3-time state championship coach. What's going to be the difference for Sam coming out with a W or the guy I'm afraid of coming out with a W?
I mean, it's just like any other game. I mean, number one is going to be turnovers. You know, who's going to protect the ball? Who's going to kind of control that field position battle as well? You know, both teams are going to have dynamic guys in the return game also. So a game like this, you're looking to see, like, is one of these teams going to get a big return, or, you know, are they going to block a punt? Something like, you know, some of those big momentum swinging plays. But whatever it is, I think you're going to need to go ahead and take the under for this game.
It's going to be low scoring. Gary, you buying that another low scoring game? Sam in his big game so far has been a very low scoring. Well, the Grimsby game,
29-28 first game.
But South Point was very low scoring. There was no offensive touchdowns in the South Point game.
That's true. That is true.
So what do you think, Gary?
Holler championship semifinal.
Oh, definitely Holler championship. Definitely. When we say Holler championship, we mean like a lot of yelling in the pregame.
Yeah, a lot. It'll be a lot of wasted energy.
They're not like that. They're not like that anymore. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of CMS security at the 45 of each game in the pregame.
A lot of dudes with cameras trying to film that stuff.
Yeah. It'll be some of that. It'll be a lot of posturing and you know. But I think Tinsley's gonna want to play the game in a phone booth.
Yes.
You know, I think he's gonna want to. The last 2 years have been very close. You know, West Charlotte won a close game 2 years ago at their place, and they won a close game at West Charlotte last year. You know, so I guess this is the rubber match. You know,
I think the last 2 years the games are within like a total of 3 points total. I think.
It's not going to be a lot of scoring. I don't think.
Yeah, Gary. Yeah, we got no chance of score now. Okay.
No, I didn't say that. I say it's not going to be a lot of scoring, and that's both teams.
We get a lot of guys back this game. I'm excited about that.
Take
get a lot of guys back.
Yeah, Chris. Sam sounds very confident. Chris, put a ball on this for me. Give me the 30,000-foot view on Mallard Creek in West Charlotte.
I think it's going to be everything you guys have built it up to be, and unfortunately, I hate that I'm not going to be able to be there. It's a game that I'd love to see. I love those old school. Put your 3 yards in a cloud of dust, get in the dirt, and have a defensive slugfest. I think that's what it's going to be. I don't want to pick sides because I'm sure you're going to put this game on the pick'em this week.
Oh, yeah,
and, it's going to be a tough one. I'm probably going to have to put my money with Mallard Creek, but who knows?
Ooh.
I'm trying to help them both out.
I love when y'all do it, Sam.
All right. 0-0 tie in overtime.
We're gonna take a break, and when we come back from the break, it's my favorite part of the show, Coach versus Coach. But we got a special Coach versus Coach this week because we're going to talk about coaches' pay. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Scott Fowler, sports columnist at the Charlotte Observer. I have been here 31 years, but you know what I never have had before here? A newsletter. I've got one now. It's free. I'd love you to sign up for it and get my take. Every single time I have a column, you'll see it first. Panthers, Hornets, college sports, high school sports, whatever controversies going on. Sign up for my free newsletter, and you will be able to get my column every single time earlier than anyone else.
All right, man, here we are, week 6, midpoint of the high school season, and once again, we're going to lock the doors. Oh, by the way, Gary, I'm wearing your shirt. We got to pay these coaches, man.
Got to pay.
Let's lock the door.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdown.
Man, I don't think we're going to lock the door. I think this is more than just that. This is going to be a good old-fashioned cage match, from the 80s, like the Great American Bash played there at Memorial Stadium, Ric Flair, Jim Cornette. We're going to go big time on this one. I told you I wore my shirt. Gary had them made up, pay the coaches. So let's talk about it. Coach versus coach. Question number 1. We've talked a lot about coaches' pay. With paying for years of experience versus one set bonus in CMS, would it help in CMS? If not, what? Gary, you go first.
2 things can be right. They need to pay based on years of experience. You don't pay a first-year teacher the same as you pay a 20-year veteran. Experience costs money. and that's what you're getting. And then
every job in the world, job in the world.
Yeah. And then on this, the second part of the question, one set bonus helping CMS, not if it's defined as a bonus, because according to law, the way it's written, if it's a bonus, it's taxed more than if it's another type of pay. So, that bonus gets eaten up by Uncle Sam. So I think it should be separate pay. It's two different jobs. One is a teacher and one is a coach. They're not the same job. So don't say that coaching is a bonus teaching job, because it's not. It's two different jobs.
Yeah. Brian, you've been in CMS for a long time. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And we've all heard that analogy before, like the plumber comes out and he bangs on the pipe and he's like, that'll be $50. The guy's like, for what? All you do is bang on the pipe. He's like, no, you're paying me for the 25 years I've spent learning where to bang on the pipe, so I know where to do that. So, and I think that's where experience matters. Experience matters a lot, because not only are you helping the kids out, now you're helping younger coaches out, and you're developing coaching staffs where, hopefully these guys then go out and they get their own programs as well. But again, if you want to keep people long-term in the district, you've got to reward them for that. And again, I agree with that, and again, I don't mean it to sound self-serving at all, but no, I shouldn't be getting paid the same as a first-year guy, because I've done a lot more, I know a lot more, and I know how to fix problems a lot faster.
100%. And like Hales said, Hales can fix more things just on the football field, but has experience in the classroom, helps the building, helps the culture. There's a whole laundry list of things that he's done with the experience that he's had over the years. It needs to be paid for that. The next thing is this. So I thought the new law said overtime is not taxed at all. Is that correct? Something like that? Or, we're getting to that phase.
That was a promise made. I don't know if anybody's talked on it yet.
Yeah, well, if that's happening, that needs to get done. And coaches need to be looked at. Is it strictly overtime? Because last time I checked, Coach Hales and I and the other ones out there, we actually work a full-time job. Yeah. Then we work overtime coaching football. It's not a bonus. This is something that we don't have to do. We do it, and it's overtime, and we're affecting a lot more than just overtime. We're affecting other people's lives, the cultures of the school. A lot of times, like we had a homecoming, and it got packed fully versus West Mex. So the school made plenty of money for the other programs. And all that takes time to develop to get to these things. And we do a lot more than what people think. And so, yeah, it's not a bonus. It's overtime.
Right. And I've always thought that, that word bonus that's a reward for things that you're already paid for. It's an addition on top of that. Like, not the actual pay is the bonus. Like, no, that's not right.
You make it further in the playoffs, maybe we deserve a bonus, or you won a conference championship. There's a bonus for you. You won a state championship. There's a bonus for you. Not the everyday thing that we do. Come on.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Both of you make very good points, especially you, Coach Griner, regarding the overtime. So we'll see how that plays out. I want to stay here with you, Coach Griner, on the second question, coach versus coach. If CMS made the stipend part of the salary and extended coaches pay to 12 months, wouldn't that give you guys a pretty big boost? Would it help?
Yeah, without a doubt. It definitely needs to be 12 months. It's not even close. We need to be able to pay the coordinators at least 11 months as well, because they're there longer. Any key holder has more responsibilities of being last man left, or they're opening doors up earlier. There's a lot of things that go into it. So people on the outside that have other jobs, that's what you consider. They actually make more than what we do, because theirs is not taxed as a bonus.
Yeah.
And they have less responsibility. So, 12 months is a must. I mean, that's like it. Are we not working 12 months? Yeah, of course we are. And if we shut down one of those months, the program, the culture, everything the school suffers.
Right.
It's just going to happen. Yeah, that's a minimum, without a doubt.
Gary.
Definitely, because what one of the other things that coaches don't get paid for is spring practice. North Carolina has spring football now. And Sam and Brian can tell you how many hours they do it or how long it lasts, but still they don't get paid for it. So they need to be paid for that. The assistants need to be paid for June and July because the head coaches are not the only one out there coaching in June and July.
100%.
So it needs to be 12 months.
I agree totally with that because, and then one of the things you look at in addition to the spring football practice is, and Sam, you're going through it right now, how many college coaches are coming through your school during the day in the spring that as the head football coach, you deal with those guys and you communicate with them. Like, we're still coaching football all year. Like, I don't know a coach that takes a month off or takes 2 months off. Like, it's a 12-month job.
Yes, and guess what? When do they come a lot of times? During our planning period. I work like a lot of football coaches get an extra planning period to do these things. I work all of them. I work just like an English math teacher full-time that does not teach. I don't get extra time off. I still have to do everything. I go to the meetings on Wednesdays when they have the teacher meetings. So there's a lot of responsibility goes on there, and then we get bonus checks. It's hilarious. It's laughable now, and I don't care talking about it.
All right. Hey, let's move on. Question number 3. Gary, I'm going to start with you. Lots of people say the football coaches shouldn't be asking for more cash. What are the people missing here?
Okay, when we got the script for today, I said, let me back some of this up with some facts. So, I'm a history teacher, but I did some math, So I'm going to throw a little bit of math. It might be off a little bit, but I'm still an educator, so I know how to make it work. So let's just say football season lasts 20 weeks, okay? So that comes to about 460 hours of regular season, okay? We're saying that I came up with the figure that a football coach works about 23 hours a week. I'm going to say 3 hours Monday through Wednesday. I'm going to give Thursday because you got JV games. I'm going to say another 5 hours on Thursday extra. And then on Friday, I'm going to bump it on up to 6 or 7 hours extra, because when school lets out, they have the kids with them until almost 10 o'clock at night. And then here's the other one that the public doesn't know. Guess what? Coaches work on the weekend. Most staffs work a 6-day week. They either are coming in on Saturday morning meeting, or the coaches are meeting sometime on Sunday to go. They're doing game plans just like teachers do lesson plans. Okay. They're grading film just like teachers grade papers, Okay. Now we go from there. So if you divide, that comes to let's just say the coaches make $3,000 a season. The average coach, not the head coach. That's assistant coaches.
That's more than what they make, but go for it.
I'm being generous. So if you divide that $3,000 check by 460 hours, it comes to $6.52 an hour. That's less than minimum wage. Okay, now let's just say we move on to the playoffs, and we're gonna say you work an extra 4 weeks. Okay, same $3,000, but you've added 92 hours of work for the same $3,000. So now the coaches are making $5.52 an hour. Okay, so that's less than minimum wage. These coaches could go to McDonald's or some other fast food place and make 2-3 times as much money that they could if they weren't coaching. So do they need more money? Come on, they're not even making minimum wage coaching. If you divide the hours based on the pay that they get, they are not making minimum wage. And these are grown men and women. I'm not just talking about, I'm talking about football, but this applies to basketball because guess what? All the other sports make less than football. Basketball makes less, volleyball, track, wrestling, swimming, cheerleading, baseball, softball, soccer, they make less than football and put in the same hours. So it's even worse for them. So, sorry, I got long-winded with that answer, but I did a little homework on this one. Okay.
I love it. I got nothing to add to that. I mean, that's it right there. To me, that's everything. When you break it down like that, again, time is money, and how much do you value our time? So, and when you look at it like that, it's not a very good relationship. It's you feel undervalued, you feel underappreciated,
disrespected. To the point where it's not even like not valued, but you feel disrespected because you're dealing with people's lives. That's what I don't understand. Tell me someone that's played 3 to 4 years in a sport that's not a better human being in the workforce, in life itself, a better father or mother. Okay, because I tell you what, when you play sports and we're in control of that culture, that might be some of the only stability some of these kids have. All right. And it's going to teach them just resilience in life. It's going to help them better in the classroom. And so the funny thing to me is this is where it gets me when we're just talking about was it LEA? Is that how you say it? LEA and CMS. We have a higher standard. All right. Hear me out on this. We have a higher standard you have to have a 2.0 to play. Standard in the state is not that. But we're going to pay our coaches less than a standard. Make that make sense to me. So we're supposed to raise the standards in CMS, but we don't raise it on our relationship, like Hale said, and respecting on what we're trying to do when we don't even have the same standard. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Gary, kudos to you. I think you get a round of applause for that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That was a phenomenal discussion, fellas. I was just in the back. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I hope a lot of people hear this live or get it on replay. I'm sure the word's going to go around. You guys had this discussion. That's the beautiful thing about having, 3 great coaches on the show, that we can have these type of talks. And I appreciate you guys giving your time to us every week to do so. All right. So since we're running a little light this week, I'm happy to report. Sam, it's time for your final thoughts.
Oh, final thoughts. I'm just going to hit on what Hugh said. I'm going to take it to the bank. Hugh said we're going to lose. He's picking Mallard Creek, and he knows me personally, so it hurts a little bit him saying that he doesn't believe in me. So that's what I'm taking in it, that he don't think I can get the job leading this program to the next phase. West Charlotte was past champions. Mallard Creek's had an unbelievable schedule, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna take us, and I'm gonna like the end of the result, I hope.
Sam, you have that Michael Jordan thing. You're just looking for something to get yourself pumped up. I mean, you are the defending state champion. You realize that, right?
2 losses right now. We got 2 losses. That's all I think about right now.
All right. Great show, fellas. Great discussion. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That is Sam Griner, the 2-time state championship coach. That's Chris Hughes, the #1 voice of high school football. Play the coaches. That's right. That's Brian Hales, the 3-time state championship coach for Butler High School, and Gary Richmond, who just gave you guys a brilliant breakdown of coaches' pay. I'm Langston. We'll see you next week, and we are Talking Preps.